So I just got finished up watching the Apple showcase. Kind of disappointing, honestly. Like the whole showcase didn't really have a lot new. It had a lot of stuff that was kind of just, yeah, it's a little bit better, a little bit this, kind of like a typical Apple event. Nothing really mind-blowing, but I do want to talk about a few things that I'm at least a little excited about. I actually want to start off with the Apple Watch. I think there's a couple cool additional features that are now on this. One of them is the cycle tracking for women. That seems like gonna be very useful to some people. And then the crash detection seemed really interesting to me. I thought that this is actually an existing feature. Must have been confused with the fall detection. I thought that it would kind of essentially act the same way. Probably did somewhat work for car crashes, but yeah, now they have like a dedicated crash detection mode. So that's cool. Now, the most exciting thing about this whole show has been the Apple Watch Ultra, which is going to be a titanium kind of outdoor rugged design for the Apple Watch. It's also going to feature one of the best battery lives for an Apple Watch, which I think is going to be good. Battery life is one of the only existing complaints I have about the Apple Watch, and they've seemingly made it even better. They've also added some additional features for people like divers. The diving section alone seems very interesting, and definitely like to see these improvements coming, especially on the software end for Apple. So that seems cool to me. Mostly I'm just excited about something that looks to be better built, especially with the titanium chassis versus the recycled aluminum that they use on their other Apple Watches. The aluminum just has never been very good with wear, and any drops or anything like that seems to mark it up. So titanium should do better. Then you have what you probably came here for, which is the Apple AirPods Pro. This is basically just an update, and it's priced at $249. I'd recommend getting the previous version at $179. That's what you can pick it up right now on Amazon, Best Buy, places like that. I actually just bought those as a gift. They've changed the chip to an H2 chip. They also apparently are using quote unquote lower distortion new drivers and a custom amplifier inside of it, which, we'll see when the frequency response graph comes out of that stuff, if it's any good. The AirPods Pro always had spatial audio, but apparently they have this new scanning feature for the phone where you can actually just scan your ear, and it's going to provide apparently a better spatial audio experience for its users. I think the spatial audio and the transparency stuff really depends on who's using it. For me, they've been really effective on all the audio products from Apple, but for some people, they are less effective. And I'm wondering if this is going to help bridge that gap between the people it seems to be less effective towards and people who seem to be like me, where it seems to be extremely effective. They also seemingly improved on their noise cancellation, which I actually think through software over time, the previous AirPods Pro actually got really, really, really good. I actually just used them to mow the lawn the other day, and it was great, like really, really quiet. It was nice. I think that Apple's current kind of version of their noise cancellation is just about the best of any brand right now. You may have better in one specific area, like my buddy DMS brought up, airplanes are not quite as good as some other companies like Sony, but there's so many different types of sounds that you might want to cancel between office noise, lawn mowing, airplanes, trains, automobile, the whole gambit of sounds. And I think as an overall category, I think that Apple probably does it best. So seeing an even further improvement, keeping them ahead of the competition is good to see. But largely kind of like this whole event seemed to be, except for the Apple Watch Ultra, it seemed to be just like the standard Apple thing of like, yeah, it's slightly better than the last generation. And that leaves people like me who tend to recommend buying the older versions that are cheaper but basically have the same features, like the old AirPods Pro. I would just get those. You save about $70 and you get exactly the same features. The only thing that's really new on it is the case makes noise if you lose it, but most people don't really deal with that too often. And I don't really think that's a reason to spend $70 personally. They do have a new version of their transparency mode, which I also think is really effective. So if the outside sounds are very, very loud, it will reduce those decibels a lot. And apparently it works very quickly at about 48,000 measurements per second. So it should be pretty quick in doing that too. So should be pretty cool. Largely the AirPods Pro, it really feels like an update to an existing product. That's what it is. I didn't see a lot of new features that have come to it. I couldn't quite tell, but it seemed like maybe a slightly updated physical design, but it looks so similar to the old version that it's probably just about the same. And then you have the iPhone, which is kind of same, just like always. Bigger display, slightly better battery life. The iPhone 14 Pro though does look pretty cool. They have this new pill-shaped design for the notch for the camera. And I actually really like the way that they've implemented a lot of the software features to work around that notch. In a weird way, I kind of like it. I don't know if I'm alone here, but I like the way that they've made a lot of the apps and a lot of the software things work around the physical shape of that so that it extends and it contracts and it becomes round when it needs to and stuff like that. I think if Apple is dedicated to having that camera there in the way that it is there, I think that this is probably the best possible scenario for dealing with that pill-shaped black piece being there right now. Still no USB-C, which, you know, that's kind of beating a dead horse at this point. The coolest thing to come out of this, the iPhone Pro at least, is the peak brightness. I think the peak brightness was like 2000 nits and sustained brightness was like 1600 nits, which is very bright for a phone. Not the brightest, I think, at 1600, but certainly bright enough for a phone. So as far as this event, didn't seem like it talked about a lot because they didn't really talk about a lot. A lot of words, a lot of time to basically just go over slightly updated versions of the previous generation. So yeah, the highlight for me is definitely the new Ultra Apple Watch, which is apparently priced at $799. It's definitely a high price, but there's not really too many direct competitors that can really do everything when you consider all that it can do. So I think that one might be something that I might look at actually picking up. All right, thanks a lot for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.